AccuQuilt. Let me give you a few tips on how to use our 2.5-inch strip die and all of our other 14 sizes of strip dies. So to cut 2.5-inch strips, there are actually only 4 blades in this die. 1, 2, 3, 4. No blades down here and no blades down here. This is the exception to the lengthwise grain rule. Normally, we would put that label at our belly and cut lengthwise grain, but for strips, we're going to cut width of fabric. So there's 2.5, 5, 7.5 inches. We're going to add 1/4 inch on either side and just rough cut 8-inch fabric width of fabric, okay? So I've taken my fabric. I've actually cut off the salvage edge because the salvage edge is always wonky. Then what you want to do is take the fold and line it up here, and I'll show you. Okay, we want that fold parallel to this black line, and it needs to stop just before the line. This black line says, hey, there's no more blades on the other side. So you have to stop here so that you can cut the strips completely. Now remember, you can do 6 layers of fabric. In fact, if you cut with 6 layers of fabric, you'd have enough binding for a queen-size quilt in one pass. All right, so now I'm going to put my cutting mat on top. I'm going to use my Go Big to cut with our strip die, but you could use your Go Cutter to use this die as well. All right, give it a little love, get rid of that static, slide our mat, don't lift. And now look at this, quilters, ta-da! We have cut perfect 2.5-inch strips. But wait, there's more tips on how to use your strip die. Let's say you needed to cut squares, hundreds of squares. I'm gonna tell you to take your 2.5-inch strip, keep it folded together, and then you're going to line it up right here on the die where it says 90 degrees. Now the trick is to make sure that you come past the fold, past the blades, okay? So where my fingers are is where the blades are, so the fold has to go past the blade. Now we can fan fold 6 layers of good cotton, but you can use other fabrics, right? Flannel, felt, denim, wool. Start with 1 or 2 of those layers. All right, so now I have my first row to cut my squares. But wait, there's another great tip. You could start here and go all the way down the die board at 90 degrees and in one pass cut 126 squares. But wait, one last tip using your strip die. Let's say you wanted to cut diamonds, 60-degree diamonds. You're going to take your perfect strips, and you're going to come right here on the die where it says 60 degrees. And you're going to fan fold back and forth, again, making sure the fold goes past the blades. And just like the strips, you could actually take your clear ruler and go 60 degrees down, all the way down the die board. I'm going to put my cutting mat right on top. Run it through our cutter. All right, when it's done cutting, we're going to give it a little bit of love, get rid of that static, slide our mat, don't lift, and ta-da! We have cut perfect squares. But watch this. We've also cut perfect diamonds. Have you ever wondered how to make a tumbling block and what diamonds you use for that? There's a die for that. You would use your strip die. You would cut your diamonds at 60 degrees, and then look. Here are your tumbling blocks. At AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.